Pricey, your book's out this Christmas. The Leon Pryce story.
It's out now.
Priceless.
It's out now.
It's out now, but it's good for Christmas.
Good for Christmas.
Good for now, good for Christmas. A lot of love and blood, sweat and tears has gone into the book, like your career. And when you come back to this ground, does it give you fond memories, or are you a bit disappointed with where the club's at now?
Bit of both, really, if I'm really honest. Mainly good memories. Winning big games, playing against Leeds. I remember playing here one night in front of 24,000, which were the record crowd that we won in Super League. We pipped them, just beat them on the night. So really and truly overall, nothing but good memories. But also when I look around now, it's sad that we don't get to see the stadium full anymore. It's sad that we don't get Super League teams down here, because there's nothing better than coming down and watching a good game down here. So a bit of a mixture, really.
This club's been in your heart from being really young. You're a local boy. You're a really proud Bradford lad, and you really do hate Leeds. And
I don't hate Leeds. I have a good healthy.
Hate for him.
No, don't be putting me on the bus here. No, it's like anything. If
it's like the rivalry.
Yeah, it's a rivalry, isn't it?
Wigan Saints.
We get brought
Leeds,
up like
Bradford.
that. I got brought round here. We with Leeds as rivals. That's it. But actually, since I've retired and I go to quite a lot of games at Edley now, the fans have been really decent with me, which is in quite contrast to when I was playing on the field. So, no, it's just I think it's good to have rivalry. I think it's good for the game, and it's good that your players, if you're playing, have got an actual rival with a team.
I don't know if you saw Tony Smith's article like last couple of days since his mutual leaving of Warrington, saying that he's not looking for a job in rugby. He's disillusioned with the game. He's disillusioned with how the game's being promoted and marketed, run, and he's just not even looking for a job in rugby. It's a massive statement from a huge figure in the game. And I just wondered what your feelings are about where the game is at and where it's going.
I don't think it's something to be too concerned about. I think Tony's had his time, and for him to move on now, I think it's good timing for him. But that also gives a chance for a new up-and-coming young British coach to cut the teeth in the game. So I do understand probably some of his complaints, but he's been at the top of the game with the big teams for a long time now. So probably anywhere he goes now will be probably a backward step for him. The game is itself, I think, we know we've got the end products. We know we've got a game that's exciting, that people want to watch, that's tuned in by millions of viewers on Sky TV and on BBC and on Challenge Cup online. But I think marketing-wise, we need to find a way of marketing the game better. We've seen what's happened with darts when they've come over, and now it's a massively watched sport, and it's right up there with one of the highest watched sports on Sky Sports. But I'd like to see people like Kevin Sinfield, Jamie Peacock have a little bit more of a say in the direction of the game, and the more that they do so, the better for us.
Mate, I think we're actually in this, for the first time in the history of the game, getting the next generation of administrators, the players like yourself, like Kev, like JP, Paul Sculthorpe, who have been there. They understand the modern game. They're part of that Super League era, massive figureheads of that time, and now it's the time really for them to step up and help grow the game. I completely agree, but it's difficult because it is such a big job.
Absolutely, but like you say, Samuel, that's what we need. I'll be looking to try and help the players as much as possible.
Is that what your focus is?
Yeah, my focus is the players. I've always been a players player. I've always been quite hard to handle as a coach because I speak my mind and try and speak up for the players. And I think that the boys need a little bit of a voice sometimes, I think, because of the profile of our game, which is very, very low, and the players that have not... There's only a couple of players, I'd say, Sam Tompkins, and a couple more that have actually got a big personality that they can go on to Question of Sport, they could go on Soccer AM. We need more of those players that have got decent profiles, you John Wilkins and people like that. So... I think when your profile's so low, it doesn't really give you a voice. Yeah. And I think the players need a voice, and I'd like to try and help with that.
There's been a lot of talk as well about the Players' Union. I know Jeff Burrow, Rob Burrow's dad, does a great job with the GMB, helping players all the time, and Rugby League cares as well. They're always there for players. But do you think it's time I know John Wilkins tried League 13, but do you think it's time there were a proper players' union in this sport?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's been discussed quite a lot. I mean, I'm not in a position at the moment to try and get this thing going. Probably 12 months down the line I will, but it's something I'm really passionate about, is the players getting what they deserve. I'm passionate about the game moving forward. just the protection of our young players coming through, minimum wage. I think things like when you play for England, when I played for England, the players still buying their own boots, which I know we can all afford, but it's the principle of the matter is when you're playing for your country, if you played for England Rugby Union, play for England Cricket, you play for a tennis team, I don't know, you are provided with boots as a sponsor, and it shows you that the marketing of our game, really and truly, we should have sponsors jumping at players to shove them in their boots and their kit and endorsements, and I just think that we need to try and, as much as possible, raise our profile as a sport and as individual players.
We've just been working with Luke Gale, who I think one of the biggest profiles at the moment. Obviously, what he's pulling up trees at Castleford and he's on for Man of Steel, him or Zach probably, if we're honest. We've just been talking to a few brands about Gale to see what the appetite is out there. And Adidas have actually sorted his boots out for World Cup, which is great because they've not done anything in rugby for so many years. So I think there is an appetite out there, but it's about taking them to the brands.
Absolutely, and I think also as well is the way that we marketed the game. It's up to the agents and the players themselves to make sure they try and build the profiles. As we all know now, everything's done online, everything's done on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. So I think it's the time that I'd like to try and help. I'm personally in the process of setting up my own management company to be an agent to look after some players, and a big focus for me will be to make sure my players have got a good profile and that things like boots and cars and things like that are looked after, because these boys are special. They play a professional sport, they play a game that's played by warriors, and they deserve looking after.
Mate, it's a good time as well at Rugby, and we've been doing some great work, and the news is you might be doing a TV show as well, getting out there and really representing the players online. I think it's great because the more media there is for this sport, the better.
Absolutely, and I think that I don't think we've seen the full impact of the sport, of what we can actually make. I mean, we watched the game on Sky on a Thursday, Friday, but really and truly, I'd like to see more on TV. I'd like to see more rugby, and that's why I love Rugby AM. We see more rugby. People want to see documentaries. People want to see what does it take to be a rugby player. People want to listen to what Sam Tompkins got to say. People want to know what it took for Danny Houghton to get Man of Steel last year. People want to know about Zach Hardacre, who played in Australia, come back and having a fantastic season. I don't want to just watch them playing rugby on rugby on the Sky tonight. I want to sit and listen to what they've got to say. How did you score that try? What do you do? What preparations do you make to play games? And I think we've got a big crowd, a big following, so there'll be more than just me that wants to know these things.
Let's talk about Bradford for 2 minutes. It's a club in decline, into League One now, which is it's just really sad. But is it what it needs to kind of wipe the slate clean? New management team for the third or fourth time in as many years. Can you ever see it getting back to Super League?
You can never say never, but we've obviously taken a step backwards this year. It's been a very difficult season. I think the boys from Bradford deserve massive plaudits because they've not been given much help at the start of the season with the recruitment wise. It was a young team, inexperienced. We lost all of his players. The pressure of going down and the pressure of not being paid in December, and to handle all that in the fashion that they have and the way that they have, I don't think gets spoken a lot because obviously the profile's not as high as it was at one time as of a club and as a team. But the Bradford boys have been fantastic this year, so who knows? We'll see. It's up for the boys at the top to make them decisions to find out how we go best about getting back up the divisions.
And just a few years ago, it is like literally a few years ago, I was down there walking around on pitch and there was 14,000 versus Leeds, and the fans are out there somewhere. Yeah,
the fans are out there, but at the end of the day, I can understand with the fans with all the turmoil that they've been through. The prices on the gates, if you've got a choice of paying £20 here or going to Super League, going to Leeds and paying £20 there, and you're living on the border, you're going to go watch a Super League game. And I can understand that. So you lose a lot of fans through that. And no matter what people say, you got a group of supporters that support the team through thick and thin, which we've got here, and then you've got a group of fans that will probably support you more when you're doing well. If you're in Super League, and that's just part of life. That's the same for any team in most teams in the world, any team sport. So I understand that, but we've got to look at as a club and how we grow our fan base back again and get them fans back that we've lost over the last 5-6 years.
Mate, you've had a fantastic career. What's your biggest career highlight?
If I'm totally honest, I've got a few because I've played a few games, a few big games. But my Bradford one, I'd say, was winning it in 2005 against Leeds at Old Trafford and getting the Harry Sunderland Award. My Saints one was to win the Challenge Cup at Wembley and score the match-winning try at the end of the game. And my Great Britain one would be beating Australia in Sydney after the week of hell that I got from the Australian press and how derogatory they were towards us as a nation. So them three would probably must stand out.
Absolutely outstanding. Right now, let's listen to your top 13 players from your career, players you played with, and obviously there's Great Britain players, Saints players, Bradford, Catalan, even Hull players potentially. This is Leon Pryce's 1 to 13.